Chapter 2. The Sound of Adventure. The plane, a small bush plane, descended through a blanket of clouds, announcing its arrival in the Canadian wilderness. Dr. Whitmore looked out the window, the vastness of the untouched wilderness stretching before him, a realm teeming with mystery, and wondered what secrets were hiding within. Dr. Whitmore could feel the thrill of adventure surging through the surrounding air. He glanced at Sophie, wondering if she sensed it too. "Can you hear it?" He mused aloud, the words from his past serving both as a question and a statement. Answering with yes meant he and his sister were ready to embrace the unknown, to test their mettle against the wilderness and everything about to confront them. It was a way of telling their mother that they were ready and putting their trust in her. The phrase almost certainly meant things were about to escalate in excitement, the probability of getting lost increasing, along with facing challenges at the upper limit of their capability. Yet, they always emerged with great stories to tell, funny observations of each other as they passed through trials. These were filled with hard-fought triumphs and inevitable bumps and bruises, all thanks to her guidance and understanding of their abilities, never failing them and seeing them through the adventure that was at hand. It gave them both the determination and knowledge that whenever they heard the sound or were asked if they could hear it, neither of them would shy away. They were ready for the sound of adventure, ready to hear it call them in the direction of the sound. He couldn't thank his mother enough because she had instilled in him the desire to always follow the sound, to test himself against it and bring back the stories to share, not to hide or fear the sound, nor to stay safe waiting for someone else to tell him what they had done when adventure beckoned. His thoughts had drifted only for a moment when he let the phrase "can you hear it" slip through his lips, his mind coming back around. "Can I hear what?" Sophie asked. Dr. Whitmore replied, "Nothing, just something someone used to ask me." "Are you ready, Sophie?" Dr. Whitmore asked, a twinkle of excitement in his eyes. "Absolutely," she replied with a smile, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Had she known about the sound she would have heard it and answered yes as well. They swiftly collected their bags, having wisely packed light, only what they could carry and well aware that space would be a premium on their journey. Eager to move forward, they set off in search of their next mode of transportation. As they roamed the area, scanning for their ride, a young man approached them. He bore the unmistakable air of military discipline, though out of uniform, but an aura of being on assignment nonetheless. "Are you the party heading to Steven Anderson's dig site?" he asked Dr. Whitmore. "Yes, that's us," Dr. Whitmore confirmed. "Great," the young man said, introducing himself as Cody. He gestured towards a muddy hardtop jeep, ready to ferry them to their destination. Their bags were quickly stowed away. "We're in for a bumpy road trip," Cody informed them with a grin. "It'll take about 6 hours, but we'll get you there before evening." Dr. Whitmore glanced at Sophie, then turned to Cody. "Is there any chance we could grab some lunch for the journey?" Cody anticipated the request. "Already taken care of." He pointed to a box of MREs sitting in the passenger seat. "Didn't know what you might want, so I grabbed the whole case." It had a variety of meals inside. With their needs addressed, they jumped into the back of the Jeep, ready to commence this leg of the journey. "All right," Dr. Whitmore said, exchanging a glance with Sophie. "Let's get this road trip underway." As they drove through the scenic Canadian wilderness, they each chose a meal and started eating after the long flight. Cody pointed out various landmarks and the wildlife. They passed a family of deer grazing by the edge of the road, an elusive fox darting through the trees, and the distant call of a bald eagle soaring in the sky. "The beauty of this wilderness never ceases to amaze," Cody remarked, his eyes scanning the landscape. "Each time you venture out here, you witness something new and extraordinary." With each pressing mile, the Canadian wilderness seemed to unfold in a grand tapestry before their eyes. The dense forest, the sprawling meadows, and the distant, majestic peaks, they were witnesses to nature's unspoiled artistry. In the midst of this breathtaking journey, Dr. Whitmore, unable to contain his curiosity, leaned towards Cody and inquired about his service to the government. Cody's demeanor shifted, the soldier within emerging as he explained that he was currently serving and had been tasked with ensuring Dr. Whitmore and his guest reached the dig site safely. Maintaining the appearance of a civilian was necessary. Cody asked, "Did I stick out that badly?" "It's my first undercover op, if you can call it that." Dr. Whitmore replied, "No, the Jeep and the MREs kind of gave it away." The doctor probed further, wondering about the extent of government involvement. Cody tactfully informed him that questions of that nature were beyond his authority to answer, urging Dr. Whitmore to seek answers from Steven Anderson, the authority on such matters. Understanding the boundaries, Dr. Whitmore extended his gratitude to Cody and gently inquired about the duration of Cody's deployment to the site. Cody, maintaining his professional poise, and after thinking for a moment about whether this violated any orders, revealed he had been deployed for 97 days, and was not deployed as relief, but refrained from disclosing the specifics of his mission. The doctor from this understood that the government's involvement had likely been prompted by the discovery of something extraordinary from what Cody accidentally revealed a little over 3 months ago. Dr. Whitmore, mindful not to linger on topics beyond his influence, shifted the conversation to a more lighthearted vein. He turned to Sophie, keen on understanding her motivations and background. Sophie candidly shared her narrative, shedding light on her ambition to become an archaeologist despite hailing from a privileged background in New York State. In her upbringing, adventures, camping, and getting one's hands dirty were far from conventional. She explained how archaeology provided a socially acceptable avenue for her to venture into the field, allowing her to play in the dirt, something often looked down on in her social circles, where the image of a clean-handed professor or a highly educated doctor took precedence. Dr. Whitmore chuckled warmly, acknowledging the diverse journeys that had brought them to this juncture amidst the expansive Canadian wilderness. Their engaging conversation lightened the atmosphere and solidified the bond between them as they pressed on deeper into the heart of the wild. Dr. Whitmore and Sophie were in the midst of a lively conversation as they pulled up to the expedition site in a muddy jeep. Waiting for them was Stephen Anderson, a fellow archaeologist, friend and colleague. Stephen was a man weathered by years of archaeological pursuits. His face, etched with lines of both laughter and determination, revealed the countless hours spent under the sun. A rugged beard framed a kind yet focused expression, accentuating his piercing, almost solid black eyes, which seemed to hold the wisdom of millennia. Dressed in worn field gear, he looked every bit the part of an experienced explorer. His boots bore the marks of countless expeditions, and his tattered hat was a testament to the varied landscapes he had traversed. "Welcome, you two." Stephen greeted them with a warm smile, shaking their hands in a firm grip. "Must have been quite the journey. You both look like you could use some rest." Sophie and Dr. Whitmore exchanged a quick glance, their eyes briefly reflecting a mix of excitement and uneasiness, perhaps something else even deeper. "Thank you," Sophie said, breaking the brief silence, her enthusiasm still evident in her voice. "We're excited to be here." "Thank you, old friend," added Dr. Whitmore. "This is Sophie, a student of mine and my assistant for this expedition." Stephen nodded in perhaps a misguided understanding of their relationship. "Well, let's get you settled in. I've made some accommodations, but I should let you know in advance it's a bit rustic out here. We've got limited space, so you'll need to share a tent. I hope this will be satisfactory." And give a subtle smile that would have made Mona Lisa proud. Sophie and Dr. Whitmore exchanged another glance, this time with a touch of uneasiness. Sharing a tent was a minor hurdle, a tiny discomfort in the grand scheme of the expedition they were about to embark upon. "That's absolutely fine," Sophie assured, her smile not so ambiguous. Dr. Whitmore chimed in, "The work ahead is what matters most." Dr. Whitmore, locking eyes with Stephen, continued, "You've sent a somewhat cryptic letter, a promise to upend everything archaeologists understand about the past. I've known you for years, Stephen, and have yet to hear you break from the truth. So, what revelation is so profound that you felt compelled to summon us? A revelation that has the United States government involved?" A subtle smile played a little easier to spot on Stephen's lips. "Patience, my old friend. You know I don't embellish tales that much, but I do relish the art of storytelling. Settle yourselves in, embrace the essence and quietude of this place for a while, and convene with me in the chow hall around 1800. At that hour, I'll unravel as much as I believe you two are ready to comprehend." Sophie, who had been a silent witness to this exchange, couldn't hold back her eagerness. "We're prepared for whatever revelations you're about to unveil, capable of comprehending even the most extraordinary truths, as long as the proof is presented along with it." Stephen replied, "I have extraordinary proof, Paranthropus boisei." Then Stephen bid them a temporary farewell. "Patience, my dear friends, all things in time, or out of it," he added, leaving them to venture towards their shared tent. As they unpacked their essentials in the cozy tent, the silence grew almost unbearable. Sophie, usually animated and eager, found herself consumed by the anticipation of the adventure ahead, coupled with an underlying tension about the revelations promised by Stephen. Breaking the quietude, she turned to Dr. Whitmore. "Dr. Whitmore, what do you make of all this? I mean, the cryptic letter, the government involvement. Do you think there's something truly groundbreaking waiting for us?" Dr. Whitmore, always thoughtful, leaned back for a moment, contemplating the implications. Sophie, my dear, it's difficult to say precisely. Stephen has always been one for dramatics, but his assertions about flipping our understanding of the past, that's not to be taken lightly. He adjusted his glasses, a glint of intrigue in his eyes. As for the government involvement, well, it's not as uncommon as the movies would lead you to believe. They tend to take keen interest in archaeological endeavors on foreign soil, acting more as security than anything. Sophie nodded, absorbing his words. And how does a hominid like Paranthropus boisei tie into all of this? Dr. Whitmore smiled, appreciating her keen interest. Paranthropus boisei is indeed fascinating. Their tool-making capabilities predate even our direct ancestors by a few million years, along with a hint at a complex understanding of the environment and perhaps even social behaviors. It challenges our assumptions about intelligence for sure. But they had gone extinct long before they could have created anything more than communal camping and rudimentary use of stone tools. Sophie's eyes gleamed with excitement. So, you think it's about rewriting our understanding of early tool use and societal structures? He nodded. Exactly. If we're dealing with a discovery that could reshape our understanding of early humans or human-like species, then that could be a monumental shift. But, he added cautiously, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to see the evidence and fully grasp the context before drawing any conclusions. The conversation left them with a renewed sense of curiosity and a growing eagerness to meet Stephen and unravel the mysteries that awaited them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the golden hues of the sky outside their tent seemed to mirror the excitement and anticipation building inside them. They exchanged glances, acknowledging the adventure that lay ahead. It's 1800. You're ready to go? Dr. Whitmore asked. Sophia answered, finally I've been ready since we got here. Giving a slight smile. At the chow hall, Stephen welcomed them with a warm smile, and as they settled at a table, the air buzzed with anticipation. He delved into the heart of the matter, recounting how this expedition began as an extraordinary dig. The samples sent for dating had staggeringly returned with a date of 3.2 million years, shattering expectations and beliefs. Even more astonishing, he continued, is the evidence of a fully developed written language, communal living, and societal hierarchy. This challenges our understanding of early human civilization, as we thought such advancements were far more recent in our history. Intrigued, Dr. Whitmore leaned forward. This is astounding. Our human archaeological records only date back around 10,000 years or so. Can you speculate on what language, if any, this early civilization's communication might be closest to? Stephen considered the question carefully. Based on the patterns and symbols we've seen so far, it seems to share some resemblance to the early Sumerian cuneiform. However, we're still in the early stages of deciphering, and much more analysis is needed. Sophie chimed in, her mind racing with questions. And what about the societal hierarchy? What can you tell us about the structure of this ancient civilization? Stephen nodded, taking a sip of his drink. From what we've gathered, there seems to be a clear hierarchy, at least bigger and smaller homes. Symbols and inscriptions suggest a structured society, with rulers at the top, followed by various levels of authority and roles within the community. Their curiosity unabated, they asked about the potential species involved. Do you believe this civilization was Homo sapien or Paranthropus boisei? Dr. Whitmore inquired. Stephen's expression grew serious. The only fossilized remains we've come across are molars, belonging to Paranthropus boisei, a hominid species known for its females having a sagittal ridge and all members having robust jaws and teeth, given the nickname Nutcracker Man. Radiocarbon dating places them at the same time, predating what mainstream science currently believes about the capabilities of this species. Drive. Whitmore replies, this truly is groundbreaking then, and it challenges our understanding of early hominids significantly. The revelation hung in the air, filling the room with a sense of awe and excitement. They had embarked on a journey that could rewrite the very foundations of what they knew about ancient human history. The conversation continued late into the night, fueled by the desire to uncover more about this ancient civilization and the possibilities it held for humanity's past. As the conversation unfolded, Stephen delved deeper into the artifacts they had discovered, each one shedding more light on the enigmatic civilization. He spoke of a simple bronze gear, meticulously crafted with a precise 1:4 ratio, hinting at a level of mathematics and metallurgical knowledge that defied the known timeline of Bronze Age development. We also found figurines, he continued, depicting animals and plants, mainly those significant to their diet. This suggests an understanding of their environment and the importance of sustenance, as well as the concepts of art and abstract thought. Sophie was captivated by the artifacts and asked about the significance of the clay tablets. How similar are they to Sumerian tablets, and what kind of information do they contain? Stephen smiled, appreciating her enthusiasm. The clay tablets exhibit a script resembling an early Sumerian cuneiform. However, the language and syntax are distinct. We believe they might hold records, perhaps historical accounts, agricultural data, or even religious texts. Deciphering them is a monumental task that could unlock vast amounts of knowledge. Unfortunately, we currently don't know. Intrigued, Dr. Whitmore leaned in, his mind buzzing with questions. And the iron nails? Ironworking was not thought to have been invented for a couple million years. Could they have come from an old settlement or something else? Stephen shook his head no, confirming the authenticity of their find. Indeed, the iron nails are a significant anomaly. Ironworking during this period was supposed to be impossible. It's as if this civilization possessed knowledge and techniques far ahead of their time. Stevens told them as they moved further south in the excavation they seemed to find newer artifacts increasing in advancement, while decreasing in age. The artifacts they encountered were astonishing. Harvesting tools crafted from iron, agricultural techniques depicted on walls that rivaled modern practices, and the use of alloys resembling advanced carbon steel enriched with elements like nickel and gold. Carbon dating in this region, Stephen added, has revealed an age range between 1 million to 500,000 years. It's astounding, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in terms of human development, and never expecting it to be a whole other species. As they ventured deeper, they discovered evidence of a unique cultural practice. It appears, Stephen continued, that the people of this ancient civilization practiced cremation. They believed in returning the ashes to the earth, following religious belief, or at least we think. We found paintings on walls that show the progression of time from birth to rebirth after being burned and cremated. Each time we found samples of bone. Dr. Whitmore, his mind buzzing with theories and questions, asked, could these hominids have lived past their supposed extinction? Stephen nodded thoughtfully. It's quite possible. I don't see why not at their level of technology. Sophie, always eager to explore new avenues of thought, chimed in, they seem to stay in one settlement area for a very long time. Exactly, Stephen told her, and then they just disappeared around 500,000 years ago. We're at the edge of the excavation all the way to the south where we found a large stone building rivaling the pyramids in size, only we know this is hollow with the floors, a temple, library, or meeting area, and then there's nothing else. Excitement buzzed in the air as Stephen described their recent discovery. We're calling it the Hall of Eternity. It appears to be most likely a repository of their history from the depictions on the stone walls. We plan to open it up for exploration tomorrow, and I'd love for both of you to be there. Sophie and Dr. Whitmore exchanged glances, their enthusiasm evident. Of course, Sophie exclaimed, we wouldn't miss this for the world. Unveiling the history preserved in that hall could be a game changer for our understanding of ancient civilizations. Dr. Whitmore nodded in agreement, adding, this is an extraordinary opportunity, Stephen, to witness firsthand the preserved remnants of a society that predates current known timelines is simply remarkable.